I've been in my experiment for about 5 years, and I met James at about year three when he was holding one of the workshops at the Santa Fe Human Design Conference. And I remember first being intrigued by the title, Modern Day Heresies, because I'm like, okay, I'm a 5-1. This heretic thing really, um, I'm curious about it. And I'm also a 5-1, and I find I was feeling like I was in conflict with things sometimes. And when James spoke about the heresies, it resonated deep to my bones. I found myself just like, uh-huh, mm-hmm. And as a mental projector, I'm always in my head, and I feel like the first time I met him, there were many more things that I felt in my body, or my environment felt right. And it was really kind of the first time that I put that context to it. So when I had the chance, so I'd been studying human design on my own with different teachers, and it was all well and good, but it was very surfacey. James goes deep, and I love that, and I love the room for questions and answers. And I love the room for just being able to listen, because sometimes I need to go back. I can't tell you how many times in my notes when I've been in classes that I go, listen back here, or I put exclamation points that I have to go back and listen to that because I felt something, and it just triggered something in me in a good way that, oh, you have to go listen to this again. This is one of those missing pieces. So I just feel like that James has connected the dots in so many ways that I didn't have access to before. And for anyone who really goes deep, 5-1s go deep. They like to dive in all the way, which I have. This is something that's very satisfying to the soul, and feels as a projector, I feel like I can be successful in this way, and it just really resonates. The other thing I love about analyst training, I love that there are Friday recaps, and I couldn't always go to those. I have a day job, but listening back, I'm like, oh, there's the question that I had, and it was answered. So just the team is really good and supportive. Some of the other students in the class are so smart and so skilled at this, and I'm learning from them. I'm learning from the practical examples, and of course the 5s, we have practical solutions. That's what we want to be. So the fun thing is too, this morning I had coffee with a friend, and she had asked me a little bit about human design, and it just felt right, like a good recognition and invitation. And what was so interesting is that I really felt the difference in being able to just put her chart into the app really quick and talk freely and skillfully about certain things that may have been going on in her manifestor daughter's life, with her as a manifesting generator mother, and with their 2-4 profiles. And I just know so much more that is living in me now. So I think that's what the difference is. It goes deep. So I would encourage someone to take the analyst training if they really want to get serious about first learning about themselves and making sure that they're doing the deconditioning aspect of it. Because, I mean, for the first 2 years, as a 5-1 mental projector, I'm always about the other. I'm going to want to be helping them, but I needed to understand for me what was going on in my body and what was happening and how I interpreted things. And previous training never explained where did those numbers that indicate the arrows come from? Where did, and now I know. Now I have an understanding of how the mandala works, and how the quarters work, and where all of those numbers come from, and how the themes from the hexagram numbers are, really, you can get so much information just by really learning the themes from the roll gates and from the 6 numbers. So it goes deep. And for someone who's an investigator, again, it's this connection of the dots that isn't in the training that I've had previously. One of the favorite things about the course is that there is this lifetime access to the recordings, and that James posts them quickly, and also that there's support if there's a question that comes up. And he and Teresa have been great about, answering questions when you've got them, because sometimes, face it, you can't always be on the call, or there's something going on and you have to go back and access it. And what I love is the support is still there, even if I couldn't be there. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone back and listened to certain areas because I had notes that said, oh my goodness, go back and listen to this. Or I wanted to check something from a previous class to reinforce the current information that was being transmitted that day. So it's just, I love that part of it. But I do love the interaction as well, even though I'm probably one of the more quiet participants, but I gain so much from just really being in the environment and taking it all in. The draw for me in coming to the class was James and the way he teaches. But what I loved is also having the class assistants available, and particularly Teresa. She guides the Friday afternoons. She's just so chill. Nothing throws her. She takes on questions, and she's not afraid to say, I'll have to check that one out, or I'm not sure. And I really love that. And also, I have been listening to the new podcast, which I love, and I just listened to a conversation, and I was like, wow, you guys have such a rapport. And what I love is when you talk about how some of the transits or the PHS or cognition, how it feels for you in your bodies, and yours are different, and then being able to talk about others and how it might feel, like just having that kind of lived experience expressed so well is really great. And I love Teresa's reminders of, where do you feel it in the body? Because especially as a mental projector, that I'm always in my head, and it's like, okay, yeah, remember what's happening here. And kind of just, I feel that mix has helped me even in my own authority, like really learning what the sounding board authority is, and learning that I actually do feel in my environment what's right and what's not. And so that's been really helpful. I definitely feel like I'm more fluent with the system. I feel that I am more able to finally express what someone's chart may be, and really go deeper than just the centers and strategy and authority. Be able to answer a question that they might have, specifically looking at elements of their chart, like, is there a polarity issue here? Is there something going on with transference? That's one of the things that I never understood before, was transference, and now I see it so often in the charts that I've had around me, and I can go, oh, wow, they're really in transference here, or I'm in transference here, and that's been really helpful to understand. It's a warm and friendly environment, and it's also serious. It really covers the bases and way beyond, and there's no wrong question. And what I really like too is that, sometimes people will try to interpret a chart and they're doing their best, but they may not have something quite right. James will step in and say, well, let's look at this another way. It's a gentle way, but it's in a way very authoritative. I mean, I appreciate, like, James knows his stuff. So, and really there's no stupid questions, and he gets that everybody is on a different wavelength, or a different path, or at a different stage in their learning, and he can kind of deal with all of it, which is great.